And I just want to come out and just say, hey, have a great time and be safe and be careful for one another. I want to talk about love being real. Love is real. Love is always going to be real. We all need to digest the idea that love is just an inanimate object within us that we need to show upon within ourselves. Some people don't know it. Some people know how to manifest with it, but love is real. But the only thing, people, is you got to wait for the love in order to accept things. I mean, what is love to you? Can you define love? Can you define it? Or maybe you can express something about it. You might say you love someone to the moon and back, or you love what you do. Or you might even name your favorite, I don't know, food or sport, celebrity, or so on. Now, you're enthused about how you are when it comes to love, that you consider it your forever. Not really knowing about it completely, and eventually you get bored of it. You never choose to speak about your boredom and probably even ignore the feeling, but deep down you feel kind of unstable, as if your own soul and that consciousness that you have are condemning your impatience. Now that is where you begin to realize that the forever you dreamt about is just an attempt to escape that reality. No sooner you probably would begin that experience because of the consequences, which may shatter you. And then it break your heart as well, leading you to disappointment, hate, and some sort of regret. And believe it or not, people, having faith in love amidst all the hate and chaos is kind of something. It's like falling from a cliff, right? And expecting to fly. But there are times when you're standing on the edge of that cliff, and I say this a lot, that you have two options. You either fall or you fly. You either fall or you fly. And that's the turning point of your life, people. Okay? I ain't going to say nothing negative about my podcast or whatever you want to call this audio series. I'm only going to speak as positive as I can. Okay? Love is not what you try to seek every day. Okay? It isn't really compromise of those dates, those gifts, especially those expensive gifts, those posting unnecessary pictures, sacrificing your self-respect, being so-called goals, and being someone who they want to be. I mean, what's the point in trading yourself for love if you know love is going to be significant? Love has very different meanings and very different definitions. All because of the fact that it takes that idea and that ability to know that someone cares about you is the most important thing that you can come around and to erase at the same time. But love, people, is about being yourself. That's what it's all about, being yourself. You got to stop seeking it in people who don't even know who they are. And people, sometimes love is about having patience to feel the eternal happiness, which is unexplainable yet divine. But it's beautiful in all ways in one, and in more ways that you can imagine. People, it's all within you. It's all within you. All those negative opinions about love, it creates a gap between you and yourself, and that's why you feel lost. Love is a wonderful thing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you like every other YouTuber or any other person on social media or podcast about what the true meaning of love is. All I'm just telling you is, can you define it? It's real. You just got to wait for it to come. It will come your way. You don't have to trade yourself for that. You never chose to speak about that. It just happens. And it happens in the best way possible. Love, people, it's a beautiful, wonderful power that you have. And it's the kind of the energy which fills every atom and void in the universe. including that life force that you have. Why don't you close your eyes and feel what love is? It's a beautiful, wonderful, crazy, unique thing to have. What can you decide for yourself? Okay? Motivation always comes into play when it comes to true love. It really, truly does. Why can't people just accept you the way you are? Okay? Don't be ashamed of yourself. You don't look like your favorite person in the mirror. I mean, you're a bit too fat, right? You got pimples? I mean, do you do things to satisfy that emotional, egotistic, and weak self upon yourself? Let me guess. You hate joking about yourself and gossiping about others, but you do it anyway, just to be accepted and attended by those few people who know how to use your weakness. You got to have, you've already made up your mind about looking like somebody, right? You're being influenced by everything, including Instagram, YouTube, advertisements, and that popular guy who you know that's a little jealous and being insecure of, right? People, you aren't comfortable being your own true self in the gathering anyway, fearing people that may make fun of you, of your choices and those decisions. But guess what? You never really think of yourself. Because you find 1,000 ways to please others by being someone who they wish to see, but you fail to recognize who you really are. As part of finding love, you got to do what you can to find your true self, people. Okay? Find your true self. Use your alone time as much as possible. Think about those likes, those dislikes, those interests, those capabilities. Okay, those weaknesses and strengths. Learn about those emotions that you may have. The way that you react when you're happy. The way that you respond when you're mad, or the way that you crave for someone, or the way you expect things and people to be. How about when you do things you know you shouldn't be doing because it's addicted to your madness? The way you smile, laugh, and talk. The way you love yourself. You know that you will find beauty in everything, and you know that. You look cute when you're angry. Hell, you're beautiful when you smile, and you're caring when you respect. You reflect strength when you're sad, right? Well, you have your own way of doing things, but your uniqueness adds to your charm. Everybody's imperfect. They got those imperfections, right? Because it creates you who you are. You got to accept those imperfections, people. Don't pretend to ignore yourself. And you know you can't really run away. You can't run away from who you really are, because the world doesn't care about anything more than being successful in whatever you do. And trust me when I tell you, when you find your purpose, as soon as you start accepting who you are, you'll find it. Because you can only change if you're willing to accept, and not for anything or for anyone else. Because everything else is temporary if you really think about it. What's the decision, people? Is it day one or one day? Is it day one or one day? I saw that saying somewhere, and it kind of got me thinking about that. I really like that saying. Day one or one day. You decide. You know, you sometimes you get up and I guess you that alarm comes on and you choose to stay loyal to that snooze button. But you regret not getting up early, and then you repeat the same damn thing every day. You know, I guess you fail in the morning time because you choose not to stick to the whole day schedule. You know, you're wasting your time and the way you do every day. But that one special day you desperately wait for never really comes. And unfortunately, you don't do anything about it after realizing it's the same. It's like you know the truth, but then yet you deny to accept the truth. You know, you decide to go to the gym, You want to work out. You want to go running. You want to plan to finish your job that you had to do today. Your objectives. You aspire to learn something just to practice something every day. You know, you want to finish your work by the deadline, but then you want to eat right, and then because of you want to live a life which is good and great. But here's the problem: you forget the extra and extraordinary. You forget the extra and extraordinary. You see, people, no one is going to help you feel motivated enough to stick to where you decided and dreamed of anything. It's you who has to instill that desire strong enough to work for your better self. Nothing's going to last long, including that pain you experienced on the first day of your journey to growing. It's never too late to start. But guess what? It sure becomes tough later, though, because time waits on no one. You pretend to be proud of the way you, I guess, procrastinate, if that's what you want to call it, and get things done, right? But at the last moment, deep down, you know you will never achieve what you want if you continue doing what you do. And people, change isn't a one-day miracle. It's the product of your hard work. I'll say it again, change isn't a one-day miracle. It's just the product of your hard work, dedication, and commitment towards those dreams that you may have. Okay? Sometimes, people, you do have to condemn yourself for receiving that type of energy, which is great. And it's buried within those layers of laziness and ignorance, and I'm just going to say stupidity too. Restrict yourselves from every single thing that blocks those dreams, that hinders it. Remember this, and I'm done. Your one day will never come until you're willing enough to change for the better. I'm going to say it again. Your one day will never come until you are willing enough to change for the better. It's this simple, people. Believe in yourself and have faith in the universe, because the light is within yourself. What is your choice? The first day or one day? Is it day one or one day? You decide. Curtstride out.